Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to have my presentation here. The title of my presentation is Understanding How Perceived Descriptive Social Norms Influence Willingness to Pay in the Context of Green Hotels. The mediating role of green perceived value. Let's get started from the introduction. In the tourism sector, the accommodation is responsible for a large amount of carbon emissions, which will threat sustainable development. Green hotels represent a type of accommodation that is committed to the green practices, such as using green energy, reducing waste, and saving water resources. There are two categories of social norms, which are closely related to each other. Descriptive norms describe what most people do, while injunctive norms refer to the behavior that most people approve to do. Both descriptive and injunctive norms can positively affect the towel reuse intention in a hotel. Whereas both norms do not exert the same result in the water conservation intention. Some scholars also highlight the benefit to consumer freedom, which means that marketers should communicate with a postscript, the choice of yours, which may enhance the effectiveness for inducing the expected behaviors. That is also the reason why this research will mainly focus on the effects of descriptive social norms. In order to better understand the sustainable related consumption intentions and behaviors, Chen and Chen initially developed green perceived value, which includes four constructs: the perceived functional value, emotional value, social value, as well as conditional value. The willingness to pay refers to the maximum amount of money that the customer is willing to spend on a product or a service. Even though many people have a positive view of sustainable products, they're not willing to spend for them. And some scholars also say that although descriptive social norms has a large effect on the process of consumer decision making, how the specification of the norms determines their effects still need to be justified. Moreover, some scholars have examined the green perceived value as a single construct, but no research has considered antecedents of four constructs separately. In addition, the role of different constructs from the green perceived value as mediators remains to be explored. So we'll have three research objectives. The first one is understand how perceived descriptive social norms affect the willingness to pay in the context of green hotel. The second one is whether the descriptive social norms can directly influence the four constructs. The last one is whether the four constructs can have a direct relationship with the willingness to pay. In terms of literature review, our study will use the stimulus organisms response framework. This theory is flexible enough to be applied into different contexts. The descriptive social norms refer to the prevalence of behavior in a specific context or the reference group. The individuals with nomadic concerns tend to show the non-consistent way. For the functional value, it represents consumer perception of a product's physical, utilitarian, and functional performance, from its quality, reliability, etc. This is also one of the critical motives for decisions of consumers. The emotional value is related to the various affective states, which can be positive or negative, The social values mainly associated with personal image. For the conditional value, it is related to the perceived usefulness resulting from a certain kind of circumstances and situation. So we will have the following hypotheses. We will have four main hypotheses. We can see it from here. In terms of methodology, we'll use quantitative approach with 190 respondents, and we will use questionnaires with Likert scale. Adapted from the previous literature, we will have our own measurement scale. Let's go for the research results from this chart. We can see it. Descriptive social norms has a positive relationship with the four constructs from the green perceived value, and 3 out of the 4 constructs positively related to the willingness to pay. However, we can see that the perceived functional values did not have a significant effect on the willingness to pay. For the mediating effects, we will use bootstrapping method and a 95% bias corrected confidence interval. We can see from the graph, except from the first hypothesis path, remaining 3 hypothesis paths were supported. In conclusions, we have several findings. In this study, we confirmed that the descriptive social norms has a positive relationship with the 4 constructs from green perceived value. Also, 3 out of 4 constructs positively related to the paying attention. The last one is that this study confirms that the perceived descriptive social norms can indirectly affect the willingness to pay food street mediators. For the theoretical implications, the current study offers insights into the antecedents of consumers' perceived values and introduce perceived descriptive norms as social normative antecedents of willingness to pay. Also, this study explores the role of 3 dimensions as mediators, which provide theoretical support for the future studies. For the major implications, for marketers and sustainable hoteliers who want to expand their market share and profits, communicating descriptive social norms would be a very effective way to enhance visitors' willingness to pay. Also, green hotelier can convey emotional benefits, social benefits, and some incentives which relate to the conditional benefits, which will also enhance the willingness to pay from the visitors. For the limitation and future studies, in this study, only Chinese respondents were investigated with the limited sample size. So the future research can have the empirical studies from different countries and expand the size sample. Also, there are more variables such as satisfaction and attitudes that could be included in the future studies. The last one is that future study could examine the differences in the willingness to pay, which will be affected by different factors such as generation and income by multiple group analysis. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening.